Welcome Ji. Let's start our Java tutorial. So today we are discussing about uh, some more aspect on the class. Okay, if I'm uh, so in this section we'll cover more aspects of the classes that depend on using the object reference and dot operator uh, to learn in to getting the method or field access. So today we return about discussing about the returning value from the methods. Okay, what the scenario, which value we can return from the methods, and we are also discussing about the this keyword, what the meaning of this and where we can generally use, and we also discuss about the some class variable and some instance variable. And apart from this we have to discuss about the access modifier, which variables and methods are accessible in which places. So let's discuss one by one and detail out. So first we have to uh, discuss about the returning a value from method. Returning a value from method. So whenever we are writing any method, can have a possibility that methods can return some value or cannot return value. If your method does not return any value, the return type you are specify your void. Okay, so here a method returns to the code that invoked when it first things this master, if you returning here the where control goes, let's keep from your main methods you invoke particular methods, the control return on the same next statement of the calling methods. Okay, so first things let's if I have written like public static, let's give void uh, test is a method, and he have a out inside test method. Okay, so if let's give we are on out inside main method. Okay, we are a main method, and after that we are looking your test method. Again we are looking your uh, inside the main method. Let's give your 1 position and here are 2 position. So whenever we are invoking this test method, our execution start from this method and then invoke test method. Control goes from here to inside this method and then execute the method after the control return here. So whenever you are invoking any methods, okay, and that returns after completion of this your method, go to the next line of your uh, statement from where the method was called. So this is the meaning here. Method return to the code that invoked when. Okay, so this is the possible 3 scenario where your method can return. In our first example, when complete all the statements inside the method. Okay, the first positive and successful scenario, whatever you are written in your method. Okay, and if that methods complete all the statements, and after that control automatically return to the call method. Second situation, maybe you have written some keyword like returns. Okay, so your control return from return statement. And third also about the some exceptions or error scenario occur where. So these are the scenario where your method can returns. Okay, that is the whatever the whichever occur first. Okay, so declare methods, return types, method declarations, and the body of the method. Use a return statement to return the value. Okay, so what do mean ki your method can have a some return. Here in this our example, we have not written any value. Let's say we have write another method, like they return some int value. Okay, method one. Okay, and here you are passing this key. uh, you are doing a invocation like a your method one, and you are let's checking condition some, and return some value. Okay, here let we have in for loop, and here you want to like integer I equal to 0, I less than, that's 3, I plus plus. Okay, you have written s out, that's I, and just you want to return like if let's you have write some conditions. Let's see your method takes some input argument like n. Okay, let's n. Okay, here you try in the, let's equal to 3, and then return 3, or you can say return your, let's here is declare here outside I. Okay, so you are declaring, let's say it right I. So depend upon the situations, what the value you are returning. Sometime you condition with that. Let's key I run it. Methods. Let's get by 4. Okay, and you run it. You have, so here you invoke your method 4. 4 come as an argument here, and after that you go here. Okay, so here you are getting if n equal to 4, this loop come, and this condition is not occur, so this value is not returned, you return from here. Okay, whatever the possible value you are getting. Okay, so in this case we have to, you can also use the same as a ensure the output would be the printed. Here let's see, I write s out inside the what the value return. Okay, return. So the return types anywhere you can, maybe in some condition base, maybe until your completion of a body. If the complete body is completed, then you return this. If some condition occur, you can return here. Let some exceptions occur, you can return from here. Any exception occur, your method return from where they are called. Okay. So we have to remember this is the 3 possible scenario where your method can return: one, completion of all statement; second, reach any return statement; and possibly third case if some unwanted exception, yeah, error occur in your code. Some any method declare your return type void, that doesn't means return any value. it does not it does not need to contain any return statement. So if your method have any return types, then you must specify some return keyword. If your method doesn't return any value, this return statement can you optional, you don't need. Okay, sometime if you want to only return the some conditions key, uh, if a method is void but you want to return the control some loop basis, like here let's key in example, let's I say if I equal to, let's key to 2. If I true, then we just return. Okay, so here you have to, but you're in this, sorry, here not in this case we have to return type your integer, so you have to enter 70. But your method, if your method like this test method, let's have a condition. If pass here like any boolean boolean test, and if test equal to true, yeah, okay, and then you return. So you have an option. uh, okay, so some, if your method have a some a void, still you want to return the control, then you can use your here you write that's true. If you are passing a true, that means that this code is not executed, your control will return from here. So returns can use a two place return with only return the control, or you can return with a some variable, some value. Here it return with the value. Okay, if your method like here return with your value, region either this value is should be matched with this. If you are your method return integer, your all the return statement should have a value of the integer types. If your method does not have any return type void, so you can just pass return and semicolon, you will not pass any kind of a value, because your method does not return value, but that return statement you can write in a void method to return only control. Okay, and so this is the two kind of syntax. Sometime you want to your return the only control, this is in the case of your void method. Sometime if you have a you want to return your method return some any value, then you have to write your return keyword with your value. And we note sometime your return types of a method should be any kind of class name or kind of interface. So in this scenario, your method return type known as your support kind of a covariant return types. What it means ki your whatever methods, if this is a method, okay, this method return a return value of a type class. Okay, so you have to return from here object of a class, or you can return the subclass of a as well. Let's key A is the superclass and the B is the subclass. You can return object of B as well as. So this kind of a known as a covariant. If similarly kind of you have one interface, and this interface have a multiple implementation. So in the case of returning method, you can maybe return implementation 1, implementation 2, implementation 3. So that's not say only bound the specific interface, any implementation can be written, or in the case of class, you return the same class or any kind of subclass of those. So you can use interface name as a return type as well as, and in the case of the object return must implement it the specific interface. And in the case of similarly sub classes, you are allowed to the same class name as well as all the subclass name as well as. So let's example, if you write a class super class, okay, and you have a write class subclass, okay. So if you let's give my either is the method like a return super class, superclass get a. Okay, so here you have to use the return keyword, or you can allow your new superclass object, or you can also return in the case of, let's see if let's key integer pass here, let's see integer a number. If let's say your a number equal to 1, then you return here this method, or if n double equal to 2, then you maybe return your new subclass exception as well as. Okay, what say? So here is the what say, so return type is a superclass. Okay, so all the subclass allowed. So I'm trying to say, if your here is the superclass, so here you have to write all the implement, but here there is no any relationship. So you say extend your subclass, extend your superclass. Okay, so in this case, though, now your system here system allow this method have a return type you're in any kind of superclass, so you can return your superclass object as well as you can return your subclass as well as. So any hierarchy in the subclass are allowed to returns here. In similarly, if this return type in any interface, so any implementation of that interface return statement can allow. So this is known as covariant data type, return type. This big reason is that here not you only return the specific types as well as all the subclass or all the implementation of that interface you can return here. And as well as you can returns a null as well as. So let's key here, be ensure that whenever you are writing method, your method in all the situation must return 7. If your number is 1, then you are returning this class. If your number is 2, they are returning this class. Let's say number 3, then what your method should return. So all the possible scenario, in any how we have to return a statement. So we have to write the, if we are not getting 1, not getting 2, then what we return, we may return null. So in the case of your return types is any specific class or interface, you can return the specific class or return the subclass of that or any implementation, or doesn't match anything, then you can return null. Okay, so generally null returning from any method is avoidable. Okay, you should try to avoid returning a null. As per your business, as per your logic, you have to return some methods, returns of the class object. Okay, so this is the concept of covariant return types. So the covariant return type means your method can return a particular class or an interface. So your method can return any subclass of this or this class itself. In the case of interface, you can return any implementation. So next we discuss about the this, generally this keyword used in our programming language as well as. So here we look about the this. So within an instance method or constructor, this is a reference to the current object. Okay, if you are inside your instance method, okay, and are a constructor, inside constructor, if you are using the this keyword is point to the your current running object. So the object whose methods are constructors is being called. Okay, getting let's give, we have a object 1 dot call like your function one. Okay, the inside your function one, if you are using the this refer to this object, which the object the called method. Okay, you can refer to any member of current object from instance method or a constructor by using the this keyword. Okay, so most commonly reason for using this keyword is because a field shadow by the method or a constructor. Let's example, you have written like here. Let's we have written like your hmm, hmm, class, let's your point. Okay, point, we have a like a 2 point. Here I have a integer x point, integer y point, and we have a constructor uh, we have a constructor, or we can use the like uh, get get method, or you can return set method. So here you are notice we generally the all the editors are using the keyword this, or here using the this. So what the meaning of this is refer to the current object. To which current object they are referring? Which current object they are referring? So this keyword used inside your constructor to refer the current object. Similarly, this we can use inside of your instance method where we want to access the other data member of the current object. So let's uh, clear the concept. Can you just write this as in you have it? I think we have written inside a method. This is the class. Okay, we have written inside a method. Generally, you always write your class outside of your method. Let's we have written here like okay. So here, let's say you are creating the object of point object obj equal to new point here, and then you are passing like here two object as a constructor demand 10 20, and let's say here you have a obj dot, let's set your pass is 40. Okay, let's we have a to string, and here just s out your object, just like commented out for timing. Okay, so here what I am trying to say, here you are creating objects obj, and then your obj reference is created inside your stack frame, and when we are creating a new object is created inside a heap memory. Point class of the what type of point class? Point type had two variables. Okay, two variable x and y. Okay, so whenever you are say ki 10 and 20, so here your 10 pass and 20 pass, but here you say this value assigned to this dot x, this dot x, and this dot y. This refer to the this your current object which are you initiating. So this refer to this x and this y. Similarly here your object dot set x10. So if you know object dot set, those your set methods are invoke here. So here your pass your 40 and x, and this dot x means current object obj refer to this object, so this x. So let's say another object so that we are clear. Let's we have create another object. Just remove. Okay, so it's clear. We have a object 1 and then object 1, and then we have a object 2 and we have a object 2. Let's here pass some different value. 2, let's do 2. For time being, just I remove the. Okay, so it's clear. Okay, here so let us run and that try to understood. When here let's whenever your main method start, they have a two object 1 and object 2. Okay, so they are creating two object reference variable, one object 1, another object 2. So object 1 created with the constructor 1 argument. This is the your heap memory. We have one object for the this new with a 2 value, your 10 and 20. So and similarly new to another object we have a 2 value, your 102 and 202. This refer to this object, this refer to this object. Now you consider here invoke object 1 dot set x method this. So here this object referred to which, this to have a two object of this class, this and this. They have invoked from object 1 dot set instance, the object 1 this dot set instance here. So here this dot x is currently invoking referring to this object, and the same line here let's see object 2 dot set x. So again the same function, same method invoke, but here this refer to your invoke from the object 2. So this refer to the current object to this. So which objects are accessing invoking the particular this constructor invoke this object 1, so all the variables refer to the object 1, and here the same constructor you are referring to object 2, so they are referring to this are referred to object 2. So be clear ki whenever we are using the this means ki the which instance are accessing this setter method or constructor method, accordingly those particular objects are pointing. So due to that sake always this class is referred to the current object. If you are accessing a particular method a setter getter from this object, so they are referring to this object. If you are using the setter getter for object 2, in this case here object 2, so our this dot x refer to this object. So this is the clear of this is a reference to the current object. Okay, generally this also here is about the pseudo. Sometime you say ki this x and this x also have a x variable this and x variable this. If you type here x equal to x, then which variable assign? So if you want to this x is assigned to the instance variable of this x, so you have to use this keyword. and this is the local preferences. If you look like here, then the local value this assigned to the same, this is not reflecting, shows here shadowing. So please be, if your constructor variable name same as your instance variable name, so please use this keyword to clarify you are going to assign the incoming value of constructor inside your instance variable. So it's clear. If you write here, if you write like x equal to x, then this x is only referred to your local variable, this x is only referred to your local variable. So here if you write this dot x, that is this refer to your instance variable, or this x refer to your this variable. So whatever x coming in your as a constructor argument, they are assigning to your instance variable of x. Okay, so this is let's say you're creating object instance 1, so this x is referred to the instance 1. If you are creating instance 2, the same this x refer to this instance. Okay, if you have instance number 3, if the same this code refer to this x. Okay, so this is the keyword which indicate they are referring to the current instance for which the particular constructor invoke or particular object invokes. So this is the one use of accessing the current object, maybe field, or you can use the access any your method. So from within a constructor, you can also use this keyword to invoke another constructor. Sometime I have written multiple constructor, like here we have written rectangle constructor 0 argument, may have written constructor argument 2 constructor for rectangle 2 argument, maybe you have written constructor for your 4 argument. So sometimes let's give someone invoke the default argument, so I want at least this x and y and width and height should be initialized, so they have all the respective constructor. So you can use this to invoke the constructor of the same class. Okay, so this is also help us to using the invoke the constructor for as well as. So in this example, let's say here I want key whenever here whenever you are starting, we have to specify the 10 and 20. I don't say let's key I have written a constructor like default constructor. Here say I want to like this dot I want to at least initialize default value like uh, -1 and -1. So whenever I say ki our point is initialized, the default value should be -1 -1 or 0 0. You can see whatever you feel default value. So here what say now you can, here you can in a main method you can uh, point p1 equal to say new p1. So here if you don't pass anything, so they just go to default constructor, and default connects constructor initialize your value x and y. Okay, let's key I want to only x and not I want to for y. So let's see, have a write a constructor like point let's say we have a integer x, and I want key the same value for x and y. So we say okay, I invoke this constructor and pass x and y, both have a same input argument. So here you can use the this constructor. So if someone doesn't pass any argument, then internally I can invoke your two argument constructor with a 0 0 value. If someone pass only one argument, I say that same I invoke the another two argument constructor with the same x value here, a same x value here as well as. So this is help us to invoke the same class constructor with a different parameter. This help us to initialize the all the class variables, instance variable. So it help us lots of times to make a sense. So be care. This is the also another use. Okay, to invoking your self class constructor. And this class contains the set of constructors. So each constructor initializes some or all the rectangle member. So constructor provide a default value for any variable whose initial value is not provided by the argument. So this is help us to, let's see, while invoking a client customer create the object of class and they are not pass all the argument, but in your class have a multiple argument, you can use the multiple constructor using your this keyword. And okay, how the compiler determine which constructors to call based on the number and types of argument we are pass. Okay, and the show invocation of another constructor must be this is the one line first line of your constructor. If you want to invoke this keyword as I invoke the constructor, this is the first line of your statement. Here you cannot check here. Let's key I want to write a shout inside. Okay, so this is not allowed. Okay, so this is not allowed. Okay, this must be the first line. Okay, your this constructor must be the first line of your constructor body. So whenever you are using the this as a constructor invocations, so this is the first line. You cannot say ki you do some calculation, you do some printing and then invoking the your this as a constructor is not compiler allowed. Be ensure whenever you are try to use the this invoke as a constructor, this would be the first line of your constructor. Okay, so here it's not allowed. This is your first line of code. Line of your code. Okay, you cannot say this is the second line. So this is the some point you have to remember about the this. Okay, uh, so this used to first refer your instance variable in the case of constructor. Okay, they are not referring your local variable, and in this case your this dot x uh, which object invoke set method, those objects are referred by your this. Similarly, if you are invoking your as a constructor, the constructor argument depend upon the number of argument they are invoke your constructor, and this if you are invoking this as a constructor, this should be the first line of your code. So let's now discuss about to some access control. We are defining lots of variables and methods. So how and when which are you are able to access. So access level modifier determine where the other class can use the particular field or invoke a particular methods. Okay, so generally each object have a some attribute and some method. So which attributes and which methods are accessible within the class or outside of the class. So that is the, so there are two label. At the top level means ki public or a package private not explicitly member. Okay, what I mean say public means ki your field or particular method is access across all the classes. And package here just currently package just consider a package logically you can say in a window or let me see the folder where related classes you are putting. Okay, if you are not specifying any modifier, then by default all the data member look like the public for this particular package. So related classes we are put in the different packages. Okay, so this package is not access to this package if we are not modifying any specifier. Default means all the data member within the package can accessible, but if we specify public, that means ki this class this field are accessible across the different package as well as. Okay, all the classes of the different package can access. Okay, and some about the your at the member level, the top level, then the public, your package private you can say, and similarly your member level you can say also define your your public, private, and protected. I will discuss about the more protected and the private and public. So if a class may be declared with a public modifier, okay, in this case, uh, class is visible to all the classes everywhere. So whenever you are writing a class, okay, class at top level, this class level, you can specify your public. That means this class A can access anywhere. If a class has a no modifier default known as a package private. If you're not specifying any modifier at the class level, that means this class is only visible inside the particular package. Look like this is the package private. Within a particular package, they are working. A package look like your logical grouping of related classes inside a particular folder. So it is visible uh, only its own package. A package are the named group of related classes. Okay, the package is a logically grouping of your related classes inside a particular folder. Folder name is a package. So if on the top level or class level you are not specifying any modifier, that means this is accessible within a package. Okay, let's here. I'm try to this is your one I'm writing this is the package one. So this class you're like I'm writing this point class. We are not specifying any package here. You are not specifying any access modifier here. This means this class is only accessible only this org.example package only. Within this package you can access. So in this package here I am able to access your point class. This is the point class. I am able to access in the sample class. But let's say we declare another class that is sample 2. Let's write another one package name dot oh, test. Inside a test you create a sample 2. Let's see here public static void main. Here you are trying to say your point p. This is not accessible. Okay, here this is only defined this your point class as a private for this package. So another package you cannot access this class. Okay, let's write another class like in this example package like class point 2. Okay, and here if you are inside a package point 2, if you are trying to access in a different package point 2, uh, okay, this your point 2 accessible. So that's important. Now point 2 is accessible. The reason is that your point 2 class is your public class. So if any class you are not specifying any here in this example you are not specifying any package, that means this class is only accessible in the particular package which they are created inside the your example folder, example package. So this class is only accessible inside your uh, example package. So this is the one scenario we have to know. And let's get next level about the member level at the class level. That was the class level. Whenever you declare any particular class as a public, that means this class that class is accessible anywhere. And now let's look about the member level. You can also use as a public modifier or uh, public modifier or no modifier means whenever you are not specifying any modifier that look like your package private. And this is look like a private within for that package just as a top level class. So for member, there are two additional access modifier. Uh, so first things are the top class level. At the top class level, we have a modifier. Your class level may be public, or you cannot specify any access modifier. If you are specifying your public access modifier for the class level, then this class is visible anywhere. Okay, and if you're not specifying any modifier within a uh, with the head on the class level, then this class is only accessible a specific package where they are defined. Other packages are not able to access the particular class, right? So be clear. But there is a private and protected modifier. Specify the member can only access its own class, and protected modifier specify the member can only access within its package, okay, and by a subclass of its another package. So here is the one concept about the private. It's clear, this is the only accessible inside a particular class, okay. And similarly, like in example, if I'm declaring this private, so private data member you cannot access from outside. Like here you are trying to access p1 dot, you can access y, because y we have a declare as a, here y declared, we have not declared anything. That is look like this is here, this is accessible inside a package, okay. But you don't want to, here you have to declare x is a private, so this data member cannot access outside of this class. Here this is the, you are another class, simple class, and here you are trying to access your x, okay, x. So here x is not allowed, okay. So x variable private access modifier. So this class point have a defined x is a private data member, so this x variable is used inside your class. Here you can use inside a class, here you can use inside a class, but outside of the class, like simple class, we cannot access through object dot your variable. So this is the private data member are accessible within a block. If this is the class, define your this is the class, define your x variable as a private data member. This private data member can access within a constructor, within a method, within a method. But this x variable, apart from this block, they are not accessible anywhere. You want to access x variable from outside of the class, maybe in the same package, it's still not allowed. This is also recommended whenever you are think the particular variable is defined within a particular classes, then you marks should be as a private. So here you cannot access outside of the class, okay. And let's discuss similarly, this is the private, it's clear, and this is one protected modifier. Protected modifier is specify that the member can only be access within its own package. If you specify the protected, that means this is only accessible inside a package, okay. And also by subclass of its in another package as well. As this is the one major differences. Let's see here, let's key I am declaring this class variable as a protected, then this variable y you can access in this class. Here if you want to access the p1 1 dot y, you are able to access y, you are accessible to y, okay. Not a statement, okay. So here in this private data y modifier, you are accessible inside your uh, uh, class, look like a public, but you cannot access outside of the class. But outside of the class, maybe here a subclass can access it. Your subclass can access in another package as well. As so here you are trying to protect it. Means if you're writing here a subclass like here, class point 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 one, and let's extend point your class, and here you are trying to let's method like a so void. So here is out you're trying to access your y variable, you are accessible while, but you are trying to access your x variable, here is the not allowed. Okay, x is a private, but y is the accessible. This is the protected data member. So help of here you can po a new point one dot so. Okay, and now this so you can able to access your x variable and y variable. X is not allowed, y is allowed, x is the private. So protected data member you can access your subclass as well as. Okay, so this way you can say you are able to access your protected data member. So these are the some access modifier. Let's look at like a chart here. If you're looking like this is the access modifier. Okay, at the class level, at the package level, in the subclass, and anywhere in the class. So if you are declaring any public, that means accessible within the class, within the package, within other subclass, and anywhere in the class. But you protected it clear, look like it's accessible in the class, accessible in the package and subclass as well as, but not anywhere. Another packages are anywhere cannot access. Only subclass can access. If you're not specifying any modifier, when default modifier, they are look like accessible in the same class, within a class, accessible within a package as well as, and but no in subclass, no in your other classes as well as. You are specifying the private data member. This is only accessible inside a class where they are declared, and no in the same package, no in a subclass, no in your any other classes. So this is our access modifier. Generally we as per our use cases we are going to use public, protected and private. So some rules also here use the most restricted access level that marks sense of the particular member. Use a private uh, unless you have good reason to not use. So recommendation is that key whenever you are declaring any fields a variable should mark as a, this is recommendation, should mark as a private. Okay, until you need really this variable we can access outside of the class, then you can make a public. Okay, so here also avoid the public field, expect except the on the constant. If you are writing some constant, then you can write a variable as a public, else always write your all the variables should be as a private. And when sometime in the application you write any constant, the constant should be public so that the public data member can be accessible anywhere. So this is the general guidelines. Try to use the private as feasible, and for the constant variable you can use the public. Okay, now let's discuss about the class member. Okay, so generally we have any whenever we are defining a class, the class have a two types of variable. One your class variable, another is your instance variable. Okay, class variables are specific to the class, and instance variable is bound to the, let's this class has created one object, two object, multiple object from this class we can create. Okay, so some variable you want to for each instance, that is known as your instance variable, and some field you want to only for a specific class variable, that is shared by all the instance, that is the class variable also known as a static data member. So for the class member, you want to make some class member, then you have to use the static keyword. So static keyword used to create a field or method belong to the class rather than a instance of an object. So as per use case, some field you want to belong to the class, not to belong to the each instance. In those scenario, you have marked those variables or method as a static. Okay, and when a number of object is created from the same class, okay, and they each have their own distinct copy of the each instance variable. Okay, so here let's give we have a created a class that have an x variable instance and a y as a static variable. Okay, static variable. So this is the instance variable, this is the static variable, means class variable. So let's creating a, your object 1, object 2, object 3. So x is the instance variable. The for each object, x variable is a different instance for the different, for each object have own x variable, but y is your class variable. So they have only one class variable y, and that is shared by your all O object. So each object have own instance variable copy, but they doesn't have a class variable copy. Class variable copy is the class level only, and that is the shared for the all the instance. So sometime if you want to have a variable that are common for all the object, so where we are going to make a particular field as a static, where if you want this variable common for the, all the objects of this class, and this is accomplished by the static modifier, just to mark those variable as static. And the field that have a static modifier in the particular declaration are called the static field or the class variable. So static field or class variable is the same thing. This is for your not bound to a specific object. Okay, they are associated with the class rather than with any particular object. So every instance of the class share the same class variable, which is no which is one fixed location in the memory. So for each static variable, one fixed location allocated in the memory, and all the object of that class are share the same memory location. Any object can change the value of class variable. So this class variable are accessed by the all the object or the class, so anyone can change. But the class variable can also be manipulated without creating the instance of class. So this is the major part. If we have a class x and they have a some static variable, let's say static variable y, okay, so you don't need to create any object to access any static member. Okay, for if you want to access the instance variable, then you have to create the object of this. But for a static variable, class name is sufficient. This is the class variable. From class name we can access your static variable and a static method. And if you want to access your instance variable and instance method, then we have to need to create object of those class. But this object can also access your static data member as well as any object can modify your access data class data member, but generally guidelines always static data member are accessed by your class name itself. This is the kind of example here. Let's give this a bicycle example. They have a one variable cadence and the gear, the speeds. So these are your instance variable because we are not specified. And here like number of bicycle. So here we have a static data member. So this static data member is your class member. So this is the number of bicycle object is instance here you want to. So just make the your static keyword whichever field you want to class variable, and that class variable is not bound to the number of instance you are creating. So how if you declare any field or a method as a static, then how to access the general guidelines? Class variables are referred by the class name itself. Just you write the class name and then access your static data member. And sometime you can also develop a write a code to refer static field with the object reference like this. But this is generally avoid. Reason is that this is the discouraged reason, because it not makes sense it's the this is the class variable. If this is the class, this is the static data member class variable, that must be accessed by your class name only. Okay, so compiler doesn't not allow, but whenever you're writing a code like your object name that is static class member, internally compiler replace your object name with a class name. So be always practice whenever you are trying to access your static data member. Please use your class name to access static data member, maybe field or method. So second about the cla- class method. As a Java programmer support the static method as well as a static variable. So generally one class can have a some variable setup, a setup method. So variable can also static and method can also static. Okay, so in the case of static variable we have discussed static variable, and similarly this is the static method, so which we have a static modifier in the declaration and should be invoked from the class name without need of creating the instance of a class as well. So if you have any method static, so invoking this method you don't need to create an object one object two objects, just help of the class. Let's class name a, so a dot your method you can invoke. Okay, so here just specify the class name and the method name, and if method needs some argument you pass argument. So somewhere this is the general preference. Whenever we are going to accessing any static method, use the class name. But you can also, some developer can use your object name that you invoke the static method. But this is also generally not recommended way. Please always access invoke your static method from class name itself. Don't use from instance object. So these are the some rule you have to be clear about the class member. जो class instance method can access instance variable and instance method directly. It's clear, okay? And instance method can access class variable and method directly, okay? So here let's see, this is the let's see, here I'm writing the static int count, okay? Count. So here, uh, this is your instance variable, instance variable. This is your instance method, instance method. Okay. So here, if you let this is the uh, get count, get count. Okay. So this is your static method. So this is your uh, static class method. And this is the instance method. Okay. So here you can say ki. Inside your static method, inside your instance method you can access your count, okay, static variable directly, or you can directly invoke your get count method. So here from your instance method you can easily access your class variable and as well as your class method. There is no any problem. So this is the point where say instance method can access class variable and class method directly. Similarly, class method can access class variable and class method directly. This is not issue. Means ki static. If you are inside your static member, you can directly access your static variable and you can directly invoke any static method. Not an issue. Okay. So here the static, this is the one point we have to note here. class method, a static method, cannot access the instance variable or instance method directly. So this is the checkpoint you have to ensure whenever you are this is the instance variable. Here you want to access your south sorry, you are in this class method like a static method. Here you want to access uh, s out your x. Here x not allow. X is the instance variable. So this is the non-static field. Instance variable cannot reference as a static context. So this is your static method. In static method, you cannot access your instance variable. Sorry, excuse me. And also you cannot access any static method. Here you're trying to say that key x get x. You want to know this method. You want to get x this method. Okay, this is not allowed here. Okay, so non-static method get x cannot reference a from static context. So be clear, from static method you cannot access instance variable, you cannot access instance method. But the reverse, from instance method you can access the static data member, you can access the static method array, because all the instance share your static data member. So instance can access the static data member, but this is the shared location of your class variable. Class variable does not access the instance variable and instance method. Reason is that class data member can access from the class name itself. Maybe no any object are created. Then what happen? If these objects are not created, then how this static data member can access the instance variable or instance method? Due to this reason, Due to this reason, static data member are your share. Okay, that access from your class name. Okay, access. In the case of point, class name you can access. Static data member your count. And this count variable can access count plus plus in from count class name dot you can access your get count, class name dot access your get count this. So if you are from this method, you are trying to access your instance method or instance variable, no objects are created, then how this static data member can access? So region or static data member is bound to the only class number. But you can create any number of object. Let's create object 1, instance 2, instance 3. So this is from instance you can access your class member, static data member, static method ideology. So reverse is possible because instance share your static data member. So instance method can invoke the static variable and static method, but reverse is not possible. Static data member or static method cannot access any instance variable or cannot access any instance method. Reason they are not mandatory to instance variable of instance created during the time you are accessing it. So please be note this your class method or you can say static method cannot access instance variable or instance method directly. If you want to access, the first you create one object, and then from that object dot access your reference variable, access your reference method. And also you have to note they must be used in an object reference, and a class method cannot use the this keyword. There is a no instance of this reference. So please key in the static data member you cannot use this keyword because this is referred to the current object. Maybe possible key current object is not created in your class method. Class method are directly accessible from class name. So if object is not created, so this which object found? So here you cannot use here also if you try to use the like this dot x. So these are not allowed. These are not allowed. These are not allowed. Okay, okay, this is referred to your object. Might be case this is the class method, and class method can access for a point dot get count, and you invoke this method, and at that time no object are created. So this is so due to that we are not able to enable instance variable, we are not able to invoke instance method, we are not able to access this variable, because this refer to the current object. Here is the no object are created for this class. So due to this, your static method or class method cannot access any instance variable, any instance method, even this keyword. This also refer to the current object. There is no current object is created. Due to these restrictions, class data member cannot access. And you also try to here say this and references. So it's clear. I think you are, and if you want to access this x and this y, then you have to create one object here. Point pp equal to new point, and from here pp dot you can access your x, and here pp dot object pp dot access your x. Okay. Okay. X region is the private is not ever accessible inside. Let's give have a integer uh, uh, is okay. So this variable you can access here. Okay. So this is the way you can what say. Okay, no assignment here. You have to write an integer x something. Okay, you can also I think access. Okay, here. So you can access here. So please be noted, if you want from a class static class you want to access the any instance variable or any instance method, first you have to create the object, so that key particular objects are created out of this x and this y method you can access here from your class method. Okay, so the please be noted, region is that this instance variable as a method found bound to a specific instance, but this class method is not bound to a specific object. So these restrictions else all are okay. Okay, instance method can easily access your static variable, non-static. Similarly, instance method also can access class variable, static, non-static. Your class method can access all the variables, but only problem with your class method. Class method cannot access any instance variable, any instance method, and even cannot access this keyword. And sometimes static keyword used to declare a constant. Okay, as discussed, sometime you want to create some constant variable. The general reference is you can use the static keyword. Okay, the combinations with the final variable. Constant means that cannot be changed and modified. So generally use the static with the combination of final, okay, to define your constant. So final modifier indicate that uh, the value of this field cannot be changed. So the name of constant value are spelled with uppercase generally. Whenever you try to write any constant, use the uppercase letter, and if the name composed more than one word, you can use the underscore as separation, like test case, test underscore case. Okay, so these are the way to write your constant variable name. So static is generally used to declare a constant with a final modifier. And note one thing is very clear: primitive data types or strings is defined as a constant. Then the value is known as a compile time. Okay, and the compiler replace all the constant name everywhere in the code. This is also called a compile time constant. Okay, if you are any declaring any constant variable like a primitive data type or a string, this is the compile time known. And where in this code you use those constant keyword, those constant keyword your value are replaced. Your value are replaced. So this is the, well, you are not referring any variable at the compile time. All the values are the replaced with the variable declare and the constant. So due to that, the general recommendation, the particular variables are used frequently, then you can make as a static constant. So that at a compile time, your compiler replace your constant variable with a constant value. And something sometime you also need to initialize a field, initialization field. So we often provide the initial value for the field its declaration. The general, whenever we are declaring some, let's say capacity, we are declaring the 10 value, and some boolean we are declaring some false value. This is the general recommendation. You can initialize the while the declaration. But sometime maybe you need some kind of a business logic, some test, some conditional base you want to initialize the value. So for that, generally we use the constructor to initialize the field. But in the case of a static variable, where we do, so the let's so sometime it is not necessary to declare field with the beginning of a class definition. Although it's the most common place to declare first variable and then initialize. Okay, but declaration and initialization is not in the same order. But the condition is that key it's only necessary that declaration and initialization before happen they are used. If a particular variables you are going to use, at that time your variable should be declared and variable should be initialized. Why declare? Because the variable should be declared, this is the variable of this data types, and in which order this initialization and declaration will happen doesn't matter. Okay, so declaration and initialization can be in different places and any order, but the condition is that whenever those variables you are going to use at that times, this variable must be initialized and declared as well as. So let's tell when initializations of a value is available, and the initialization can be put in one line. Okay, you know initially this value, this variable have this value. At the same time, while declaring, you can put the value. However, this form of initialization has a limitation because it's a simplicity. If the initialization required some logic, like some error handling, some condition check, some looping, so simple assignment is inadequate. That instance variable can be initialized in the constructor. If your variable is instance, you can initialize some condition on the constructor level. To so put some other logic, but to provide the same capability for your class variable like a static variable. So where you can give the initialization block for instance variable, constructor is the place where you can initialize the value. But in the case of static data member, Java as a programming language provides a static initialization block. Okay, so we have a concept up to is static initialization block where you can initialize your static variable like this way. So static initialization block is a normal block of code enclosed with the curly braces and with a static keyword. So just write a static keyword and the code opening brace and closing brace. Here you can initialize your static data member. Okay, class can have any number of static initialization block. Okay, and they can appear anywhere in the class body. Runtime system guarantee that static initializer block are called in order they appear in the source code. What it means, in your source code, you can declare many number of static block, and the order they are appear in the code, the same order this static initializer block are executed. Okay, let's think. Let's we have this is the class here, and we have a variable static. So we have to write a static block here. This is the your static block. Here you can assign count equal to initially 100. Okay, so here you can also write as out inside a static block 1. If you run it, go first. You can assign a multiple. You can also assign here. Let's say this is the 2. Here let's give 1. So here you are looking this count variable eh, is not used because they are going to use before the declaration. So here you cannot use the count variable because they are declared but not initialized. Okay, so here you cannot use count. Okay, but you can initialize here. Let's run it. So any number of static block you can write, and you can. This is generally used to initialize your all the static data member. So here your block here a block 2. This block is first appear. This is the first evaluated, and after that this evaluated count. This is the 101. This means this here you are declaring, but initializing here it will happen. Not an issue. Declarations and initialization in different places in any order you can do. But static block are evaluated the order in which the source file is defined. The first this block is evaluated, and then after that this block one is evaluated, and the value is either 100. So please be ensure you have options. You can initialize your static data member inside your static block. Okay, this block is loaded in only one times. If you have multiple static block, so the order which they are declared defined in the source file, the order they are evaluated first this evaluated, then this evaluated. Okay, so the same here. The runtime systems guarantee that static initialization blocks are called in order that they are appear in your source code. Okay, correct? And class can have any number of static initialization block. Okay, so this is the good place when sometime you want to look like a check some business logic, check some conditions before initializing your static data member. So you can use the static block. And there is an alternative way of a static block as well. As you can write a private static method. It's instead of writing a static block, you can write some private static method and initialize all your business logic put here, and while declaring a static variable you can invoke this static method. So here what are the advantage? The advantage of the private static method is that they can reuse between the reinitialize and other variable. Let's get other variable you can to initialize the same way, then you can reuse this. So you can write here like any kind of a static uh, hint. Let's keep private private int initialize is a static field. Okay, here, and you can that should be static. Okay, that should be your static. And this is the generally order should be. You can write any order, but generally access modifier than your scope instance and non-instance that data type. Then here, let's say you have a declare this is the same count two variable, count to one. Okay, here you can say return maybe return maybe here initialize some 100. Okay, maybe here integer maybe x equal to like uh, 200 and then simply maybe you can do x multiply by 100. Okay, so these are the business logic you can put here, return some any value without value are assigned to here. And if you here you can just write your initialize field, and you can also here write a count one check this is initialize or not. Okay, okay, initialized. If you run, okay, so here static one is initialized with this value. What the value you have calculated. So this value in the this is the private static data member. Okay, so this count one value is initialized with the particular static private field as well. So this is the approaches where you can directly initialize your static data member with declarations, or you can initialize inside your static block, or you can write one static method, and that static method you can invoke initialize your variable as well. So these are the alternatives where you can declare your static class variable or static variable. And sometimes how to initialize your instance member. Normally you put the code to initialize the instance variable in the constructor. Similarly, there are two alternative way to using a constructor to initialize the instance variable: initialization block or final method. So till now we have discussed how to initialize your static data member. Similarly, non-static member instance variable you can also declare initialize in your initialization block as well as your final method. So you can initialization block for an instance variable look like a static initializer, but without the static. Just write this keyword, okay, and initialize all your variable. This is the one place where in the constructor you can initialize. This is the place without constructor you can initialize variable as well. So Java compiler copy initializer block into every constructor. Okay. So the number of constructor you have created accordingly this for each instance for each instance this block is executed. And because this approach can be used to share the block of code between the multiple constructor. So in let's see constructor 1, constructor 2, constructor 3, they want kind of some common initialization. Okay, and so instead of writing this common code in constructor 1, then constructor 2, and constructor 3, instead write the initialization block, and that block is automatically copied used in your constructor. This is done by the compiler. So let's example here you can write this is the block. Okay, this is your static block. This is your static block. Static initialization block. This static initialization block. This is your instance initialization block. Instance block. Here you can define x equal to 100 or y equal to 300. Okay, s out x plus y, whatever you want. So here the meaning is that x and y variable are declared after the initialization, but before using this should be declared. So in this block you cannot access, but if you are declaring your initialization block like after this, okay, after this it will be accessible. Let's see, here you define 1 1 and here you can access. Okay, let before it. Okay, so okay, let's block, let's init block 1. Okay, block 1, let's write init block. Here you cannot access because the variable are declared after this 0. So in this way, this block is the known as your instance initialization block. Multiple instance initialization block you can write here. Okay, this is invoked when you are creating object 1. These are the invoked. When you are creating object 2, these are the invoked. When you are creating object 3, these are the invoked. So all the times when the particular constructors are invoked, this initialization blocks are executed. Let's see, we have created some object in the main. Yes, we have created one object p, and let's then what happened in the main method we have. Okay, yeah, right. In the main method we have created this 2 times. Okay, 3 times, 4 times. Okay, for each times whenever created the new p, this block is executed. Okay, so let's look here, observe. This is your first initial block 0 is executed, whatever written. After that block 1 initial value are initialized here, and then your second initialization look like okay. Okay, this is your initial block 100 300 assign. This is your block 0 executed, and after that your next, where is the next, and this is your next block. The before we print time the value of this is the, this is your initial 100 and 300 value. After that you again reinitialize this variable to this, so this is initialized again. For this is the one object you have created. Similarly you have created new object for this is also initialized. For 3 times you have created, 3 times these blocks are executed. Okay, this is a region here we have created in the main method. We have created object like this is the one first time, this is the first time block is executed, this is the second time, this is the second time, this is the third time, this is the third time, and nearly also here in the fourth time as well as this is the 4 times and this is the 4 times. So whenever you are creating object 1, object 2, object 3, object 4, at the each time this initialization blocks are executed by your compiler. Okay, so please be ensured that sometime you want for each constructor this is the same set of initialization you want, you write in the your initialization block. And initialization block, you have to, here you can declare variable, you can declare variable anywhere, and you can initialize in anywhere. There is no any order needed, but the only need, if you are accessing this variable, before accessing this should be initialized and declare. So if here I am trying to access x, at this place this variable is not declare, only initialize. So due to that, this is the compiler not allowed. But here now this class is variable declare, here you can, and also initialize here somewhere, and then this can be used here. So please be ensure that you can declare variable anywhere, you can initialize anywhere. Okay, but the while accessing, while you are using it time, both initialization and declaration should be happen. This is the rule for your variable accessing, variable use. So now it's clear when what is the meaning of your instance variable initialization, and this is your static variable initialization. So when you want to initialize your static data member, you can use static data member, and or you can use the your private static method as well. As similarly, for your instance variable, you can use your instance block initialization, or you can use the constructor as well as, and you can use the multiple your initialization block, and the initialization blocks is executed in order the which they are created. And similarly, like your static variable, final method cannot be overridden in subclass. This we discuss in later as well as. So if you declare some variables, instance variable with some, you can say some method as well as. Just like in the case of a static variable, we can write one private static method, and we can initialize our variable with the what the value return this method. Similarly, you can write here. Uh, Especially useful if the subclass might want to reuse the initialization method. Okay, sometime you can initialize the same value with a multiple variable. That time you just write one method, that method can be reused. So here let's key I am written one private method, private maybe return integer, initial value lies instance variable. Okay, and here depend upon the logic, let's give have integer r equal to some value, and let's return r multiply by 900. Okay, any business logic you can, and now you can initialize, let's give this variable I want to initialize. So here you can write your initialized instance variable. Okay, and now you can print this value as well as here. Okay, so this is the this should be generally recommended key, this should be the final. Okay, and this should be your final variable, so that this initialization should be the same for all the variable. So here are the value are initialized. So this is the multiple way to initialize your okay. So you have a two kind of variable maybe instance variable or maybe class variable. Okay, for instance variable you can initialize with your constructor or initialization block or with a private method. A multiple instance block can be created. Similarly, for class variable, you can initialize in the your initialization block, or you can write a private your method. Like this is the way here. Okay. So these are the approaches where you can initialize your class variable or instance variable. But you should know these are the two concepts are for instance variable you can initialize with a constructor as well as the initialization block, or for static variable you can initialize with a static block as well as your private static method as well as. So these are the kind of summary. So be please ensure कि whenever you are writing a code and you are initializing the some variables, so the condition is that you can declare your variable any place. You can initialize your variable any place. But before using your variable, you should declaration and initialization should happen. Okay, this is the forward referencing as well as, and you can initialize your variable. Maybe in the instance variable you can initialize your constructor, you can initialize inside your block, or you can write some private method. For a state class variable or static variable you can initialize inside your constructor block, direct with declarations, or with a private method as well as. So this will help us to know about the declaration, initialization, the block, constructor, and method, private method as well as. So here I would like to again thank you for watching this video.